content and streaming on Paramount+.
Coming up, a community gathers to remember a toddler that police say was abused and died.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The mourning continues after the death of a 17-month-old toddler named Elena in Bell County. She died Sunday after police say she was sexually assaulted. The child's mother, Erica Lawson, is charged in connection with her death, and police say more arrests are possible. Tonight, the Middlesboro community came together to support the family. WYMT's Madison Carmouche was there.
The Middlesboro community is mourning the loss of baby Elena together.
This is important because our community is tore apart right now because of this tragedy. This vigil gives our community a chance to grieve for this child, and it also gives them just a way to express their concerns. Our community needs this.
Reverend Stephen Temple says that he felt called to do something for this family.
When this type of thing happens, this travesty, this tragedy that we've had to endure the last few days, it makes us all aware that that could be my child, that could be my grandchild. And if I don't stand up and speak now for this child, maybe somebody's not going to stand up and speak for my child.
Temple hopes people understand their role in protecting the children of the community. Elena's father says having his own community behind him makes things a little easier for him.
It's a thing where we've all come together, and it's brought so many people really far together, actually, and it's a great feeling, honestly, to see everybody try to help me, help Elena. Even though she ain't got no voice, we're her voice as a community.
The vigil included words to the family from pastors, the mayor, and the Commonwealth's attorney. In Bell County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Elena's father says that he hopes the community takes abuse seriously so that other parents do not have to go through what he's going through.
Weather-wise, a calm evening out there tonight. We'll continue to see plenty of peaceful conditions as we head through the nighttime hours. That changes, though, not necessarily tomorrow, but later this week. Pikeville Medical Center camera is 67 right now, the current temperature. All is quiet from the view there. Temperatures cooling off out there. How about middle and upper 60s in many spots, though some low 60s are sneaking in. 63 Hazard, 61 out in Grundy, Virginia. So we will continue to see those numbers fall as we head through the nighttime hours. Dew points in check. It feels pretty nice outside. Your breakfast forecast heading through the early hours of tomorrow. Low 60s out there as we head through the early part of the day. Your playground forecast, ooh, jumping ahead a little bit, not quite there, but in any case, we'll be looking at pretty nice conditions tomorrow. Steve, I'm going to go fix my signage. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, Evan, thank you. People came together tonight to remember those killed in last July's flood. They gathered at County Line Community Church on the Perry-Breathitt County border for a memorial. Jeremy Tom shows us how the 45 lives lost just more than 1 year ago were honored.
It's been more than a year since devastating flooding tested the faith of all who call Eastern Kentucky home. But this Tuesday evening, those same people joined together here at the County Line Community Church in a continuing effort to regain their strength through prayer and to remember the loved ones this natural disaster took from them.
You're not in this alone.
A podium filled with passion.
We're here as brothers and sisters.
Lines of congregants lifting their voices to sing, their eyes tearful and overcome with emotion. This memorial service resonated throughout the room, with one main theme underlying it all: remembrance. Families sat before the luminaries of the loved ones they lost, and Pastor Anthony Mullins prayed for them one by one, including his own. Melinda Cundiff lost a sister and a mother. Her faith remains rocky, but she was moved by tonight's memorial.
It was a very heartwarming display. I feel like both of them would have been honored to know that they were loved so much in this community. You know, I'm gonna miss them, but I know they're still here.
The Cundiffs and every other family member who was in attendance tonight received a rose. Melinda tells me that they can serve as their own symbol of remembrance, so that maybe whenever she sees a red rose blooming in spring, it will remind her of Ruby and Nancy. In Perry County, Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Jeremy, thank you. Pastor Anthony Mullins also says they will be making memorial stones for each of the victims. They will be placed in the church's memorial prayer garden so that these families can continue to go there to remember their lives. A bill to streamline the application process for disaster aid passed in the U.S. Senate. Kentucky's junior Senator Rand Paul sponsored that legislation. If it gets final approval, it would require federal leaders to set one deadline for two types of disaster aid: disaster unemployment assistance and FEMA aid for individuals and households. It would also require FEMA to give disaster survivors at least 60 days after the disaster to apply. The bill still needs approval from the House. Earlier this month, Governor Beshear and Appalachian Regional Commission federal co-chair Gail Manchin announced $4.4 million in ARC funds to help bring water and sewer service to the Skyview housing development in Perry County and future home of 2022 flood survivors. And on Friday, the governor announced progress on the development, saying a bridge will be strengthened to allow trucks and other heavy equipment to access Skyview Lane.
We're looking forward to getting the infrastructure started so that people can see that light at the end of the tunnel. Developing a community of that magnitude is very expensive. It took all of our partners, our federal partners, our state partners, our local leadership to all participate together. We've worked really well with the city. Everyone has a role in getting that community development started.
The construction of the bridge began on Friday, and it's expected to be completed in 4 to 6 weeks. Former President Donald Trump was indicted for a third time today, this time for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. As CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Washington, Trump is being accused by the Justice Department of spearheading a criminal conspiracy against the United States.
A federal grand jury indicted former President Donald Trump on felony charges accusing him of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The 45-page document carries 4 charges unveiled by special counsel Jack Smith.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding.
In his brief remarks, Smith called the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy.
It was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
The special counsel makes clear that his case is based on the premise that this was a president who was determined to stay in power and to do it by spreading lies.
Former President Trump is summoned to appear Thursday afternoon here in Washington in front of a federal magistrate judge following his historic indictment in the 2020 election probe. The former president questioned the timing of the charges on Truth Social, saying in part, they wanted it right in the middle of my campaign. In a statement, Trump's 2024 election campaign called the indictment election interference. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Former President Trump also faces dozens of federal criminal charges in Florida over his handling of sensitive documents, and Manhattan's DA has charged him in a hush money case. On the same day the former president was indicted, a Lexington man and former Urban County Council candidate is facing federal charges in connection to the January 6th insurrection. The FBI arrested Barry Saturday at his home this afternoon. Saturday is charged with a felony offense of civil disorder. Investigators say Saturday can be seen in several images detailing his alleged time at the Capitol during the attack. Court filings say he participated in what's called a heave-ho, putting his head down to brace himself and pushing against the backs of other rioters trying to get past police. A Southern Kentucky woman says her home was destroyed and her dog died in a fire. Police charged Jason Bullock with trespassing and alcohol intoxication. He was found near the Mount Vernon home on Saturday. The homeowner told us neighbors saw a man go inside the home and the fire started after that. She says she fears her 6-week-old puppy died in the fire. Bullock has been released on bond. Kentucky State Police say they are investigating the fire and say the case will be presented to a grand jury for possible additional charges. Jenkins Independent School Superintendent Damian Johnson says city officials have shown support for Burdine Elementary renovations. The school system has been awarded more than $1 million in grants for those renovations. Burdine Elementary will be getting almost a complete makeover, and Johnson says the project will mean a lot to the community.
We do have a lot of pride in this school, and the city has been phenomenal. They understand the importance of the school system to the town of Jenkins and have been a great partner to us in our renovation efforts.
Johnson also says the school has had an increase in enrollment, allowing them to hire more teachers. A meeting is set for Thursday in Harlan about proposed coal-fired power plant closings. The Public Service Commission is asking for public comment on the plan by Louisville Gas and Electric and Kentucky Utilities. The meeting is set for Thursday, August 3rd at 5:30 p.m. in the Harlan County Courthouse. Judge Executive Dan Mosley says he is opposed to the plan for several reasons, including fears that electric bills will go up. Operation Unite hosted a symposium at the Mountain Arts Center in Prestonsburg today, celebrating its coalition of change makers. The organization brought together the partners and volunteers under its umbrella, celebrating the work they do to help the region move toward a substance-free, educated future. Those involved say it was a good day of highlighting the programs and how they promote addiction education.
Volunteers in their communities who just need to be empowered to do prevention programs, to bring awareness to their communities. So we're here today to celebrate 20 years of Operation Unite's Community Coalition.
The coalition included a panel discussion and booths for partners to share resources. State police will be cracking down on reckless drivers for the next 3 days. KSP is participating in the National Safe Drive Initiative. Troopers will be keeping an extra eye out for things like speeding, tailgating, aggressive or distracted driving, failing to wear a seatbelt, and driving under the influence. It's an effort to keep interstate traffic safe as drivers have to share the roads with commercial vehicles. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, a Disability Resource Center changes locations in Hazard. More about the services they provide.
And we'll continue to watch the possibility for more warm weather headed our way, along with the chance for rain. The details after this.
Your health matters. At Home Place Clinic, it's our priority. HIV risks are real, and knowing your status is crucial.